So John McCain, who has built a whole reputation that somehow he manages to still cling to as some great paragon of put America firstness. Okay, so let's just re-review. John McCain is a far-right senator, 1980s. He was implicated in a fundraising scandal. He had some unorthodox positions in the late 90s. He supported campaign finance reform. Then he ran against George W. Bush for president, slightly to his left. The George W. Bush campaign in South Carolina ran all sorts of dirty tricks on John McCain, including making weird racial statements about his adopted daughter. Then John McCain went back to the Senate and for about a year moved to like the genuine center. He voted against the top end tax rates. He said we needed to do something about the climate crisis. But then by 2004, partially because he's always been sort of cravenly in love with war, enthusiastically endorsed George W. Bush and lined himself up for his 2008 run, which was sad and pathetic and culminated in him nominating a woman whose competence to run the country is comparable to her competence to run the state, which is comparable to her competence to manage a Denny's franchise, which is to say not competent to do any of those things.
Okay, got it. Got it.
You should have played that before when Kelly made her point. There should never be a Gary Johnson point that is made that does not have that sound drop, and especially the new sound drop if you got it. But anyways, that being said, John McCain now has recently unendorsed Donald Trump. Of course, he endorsed Donald Trump after Donald Trump pointed out that John McCain's stint as a POW made him really more of a loser than a winner. Weakness, total weakness. Well, I was pretending to have a football injury to get out of Vietnam. You were captured, which is totally pathetic.
That's no way to win the war, John.
No way to win the war. I was hashtag winning the war. So John McCain, though, of course, has unendorsed Donald Trump after that disgusting Billy Bush video, Donald Trump video came out. And there was another round of pathetic, like, liberal articles like, this is the old John McCain. Because for some reason, there's, like, some obsession to have John McCain be something he is not, which is, somehow heroic and filled with integrity. So here's John McCain showing his true colors on a radio program in Pennsylvania. He's talking with Dom Giordano. And he is saying, what is the Republican strategy for the Supreme Court going to be if Hillary Clinton is elected president? Now, this is, of course, put America first John McCain, the patriot, the non-ideological, conservative but pragmatic country first guy. Let's take a listen to that guy.
We're still trying to get him over the finish line.
It was the women thing as well. Of course.
Yeah, what about the women, Senator? Because it's awful. It's despicable.
It's not what he said. It's what he. It's not what he said, my friend. It's what he said he did.
Okay.
What he said he did.
And you don't see that as just bragging. Look, go ahead.
Well, what he said he did.
Mm-hmm.
Bragging is one thing. I've been in a lot of locker rooms, my friend, and frankly, I have not heard comments like that. Maybe that's just the case. But look, the one thing, this is the strongest argument I can make, is to return Pat Toomey so we can make sure that there is not three places on the United States Supreme Court that will change this country for decades.
Senator, can I ask you about that?
I guarantee you we'll be there.
Right, but how would you guys? How would you be able to stop that when you weren't able to stop Sotomayor, for example?
I think in the case of Sotomayor, they were able to convince some Republicans. I promise you that we will be united against any Supreme Court nominee that Hillary Clinton, if she were president, would put up. And I promise you this.
Okay, so John McCain basically just said that he is committed to making the basic machinery of government completely not work, even past the already absolutely reckless and irresponsible point that Republicans have already pushed it. So it's gone from, we made up a rule that doesn't exist in the Constitution, that because President Obama is in his last year, he can't appoint somebody. And now if Pat Toomey's returned to the Senate along with me and Hillary Clinton is elected president over the admitted probable sexual assaulter that I am no longer endorsing, even though I had endorsed him after he called me basically a loser for being a PFW, we are committed to imposing a new rule, which is that Democrats don't get to appoint judges. Why? Because fuck you, that's why. Which would, of course, completely undermine the integrity of the courts completely. Because judges on the Supreme Court and other appointed judges, their legitimacy does not rest on voters. It rests on appointments and confirmations. And John McCain is saying, I am committed up front to not doing one of the most basic obligations I have as a senator. Country first, my friend. What a scumbag.
It fooled me. We can't get fooled again.
Reaching back to the crates for that one.
Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Subscribe.